The large meeting room of the Galactic Council was silent. 200 different alien species watched as Ambassador Jai-Ho Park walked toward the treaty table. His black formal suit stood out among the colorful robes and strange outfits worn by the alien representatives. Jai-Ho's steps echoed in the quiet room. He thought about the weight of what he was about to do. Today, Earth would sign the non-intervention treaty, joining the ranks of advanced space-traveling civilizations. The treaty table was made of a strange, glowing crystal. On it lay a single sheet of paper, Earth's copy of the treaty. Other races used digital signatures, but humans had asked to keep their old ways. The Council had agreed, finding it interesting how humans held on to some traditions. "Ambassador Park," said the Council leader, whose skin looked like flowing water, "are you ready to sign on behalf of Earth?" Jai-Ho nodded. "Yes, Council leader." His voice was steady, though his heart beat fast. He had practiced this moment many times, but standing here now felt different. He picked up the pen, a gift from his daughter. "Earth understands the importance of this treaty," he said, looking at the alien faces around him. "We know what happens when advanced civilizations interfere with developing ones. Our own history is full of such painful lessons." Many council members nodded. They had studied Earth's history of colonization and its terrible effects. This was one reason they had invited Earth to join the council. Humans understood the cost of interference better than most. Jai-Ho continued, "We promise to never interfere with any developing civilization. We will watch, we will learn, but we will not intervene. This is our solemn oath to the galaxy." He signed his name in clear Korean characters, then added the English version below. The paper glowed briefly as hidden sensors recorded the signature. The council leader raised all four hands. "It is done. Earth is now bound by the non-intervention treaty. Welcome, humans, to the Fellowship of Responsible Spacefaring Races." The room filled with different sounds, clicks, hums, and whistles. As aliens showed their approval, Jai-Ho smiled and bowed slightly to each section of the room. Later, at the celebration party, Jai-Ho stood by a large window overlooking the galaxy's spiral arm. Earth was out there somewhere, a tiny blue dot among countless stars. Admiral Taiwan Kim joined him, holding a glass of water. "Quite a day," Taiwan said quietly. "Did you see how happy they were when you mentioned our understanding of colonization's dangers?" Jai-Ho nodded. "They think it makes us perfect for this treaty. Maybe they're right." He paused, watching distant ships move between the stars. "But I wonder, what happens if we find a civilization about to destroy itself? Do we just watch?" "The treaty is clear," Taiwan replied. "No interference, no matter what. We can't risk repeating the mistakes of the past." "You're right, of course." Jai-Ho turned away from the window. "Earth will follow these rules. We've learned our lesson about interfering with other cultures." As they walked back to the party, neither man could have guessed how these words would be tested. They didn't know that in 3 years, humanity would face a choice that would shake the foundations of the Galactic Council. For now, Earth celebrated joining the galactic community. They were proud to be part of this group, proud to sign a treaty that protected developing civilizations. They had promised to follow the rules. Sometimes, though, rules must be broken to do what's right. But that was a lesson for another day. Captain Sun Lee stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, staring at the main screen. The ship's advanced sensors had picked up something unusual in the Kepler 186 system, and what she saw made her heart sink. "Run the calculations again," she ordered, her voice firm but calm. The bridge crew worked quickly at their stations, their faces lit by blue screen lights. "Captain, the numbers are the same," reported Science Officer Jin Wukang. He adjusted his glasses and pointed to the data streaming across his screen. "The asteroid is 15 kilometers wide. Its path will intersect with Kepler 186f in exactly 8 months and 12 days. Sun Lei walked to the front viewport. The planet they had discovered looked beautiful, blues and greens much like Earth, with white cloud swirls across its surface. Her ship had been studying it for the past week, carefully hidden behind the system's third moon. "Show me the civilization scan results again," she said. The main screen changed to display images of cities spread across the planet's main continent. The buildings were not as tall as Earth's skyscrapers, but they showed clear signs of advanced thinking and planning. The species that built them looked somewhat like Earth's ancient velociraptors, but they walked upright and wore clothing. "Their technology level?" Sunmei asked, though she already knew the answer. "Early industrial age," Jinwoo replied. "They have steam engines, basic electricity, but no space travel capability, no way to detect the asteroid, and no way to stop it." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. According to their calculations, the asteroid would hit with enough force to cause an extinction-level event, just like the one that had wiped out Earth's dinosaurs millions of years ago. Sunmi touched the treaty badge on her uniform, a reminder of humanity's promise not to interfere with developing civilizations. But how could they just watch as billions of intelligent beings died? "Captain," called out Communications Officer Yu Jin-han. "I finished translating some of their radio signals. They're remarkable." She played a recording, translated into Korean. The alien voice sang a beautiful melody about stars and dreams of reaching them one day. The song spoke of hope for the future, of building a better world for their children. "They have art, music, literature," Yu Jin continued, her voice shaking slightly. "Their libraries are full of poetry and scientific theories. They're so close to major breakthroughs in physics. Just a few more decades, and they might achieve spaceflight on their own." Sunmi closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, she had made her decision. "Send a message to Earth Command," she ordered. "Priority 1 channel. Include all our data about the asteroid and the civilization. Add my personal note. We have 8 months to decide if we're going to let an entire species die while we watch." As the message was sent, Sunmei looked at the planet again. The people down there had no idea their world was about to end. They went about their lives, writing poems, singing songs, raising children, and dreaming of the stars. "We'll stay in orbit," she announced to her crew. "Continue monitoring but maintain stealth protocols, and pray that Earth makes the right choice." The Odyssey hung silently in space, its crew watching a civilization that might not live to see another year. The choice they faced would soon challenge everything humanity had promised to the galaxy. Sometimes doing the right thing meant breaking the rules, but the price for such decisions would be high. The meeting room at Korean Space Command was tense. Admiral Taiwan Kim stood at the head of the long table, looking at the holographic display of Kepler 186f. The planet spun slowly, showing its continents and oceans. A red dot marked the predicted impact point of the asteroid. "We cannot break the treaty," Admiral Kim said firmly. "The consequences would be severe. Earth would lose its place in the Galactic Council. Our trading rights would be suspended. We might even face sanctions." Chief Scientist Hae-Nul Song stepped forward. She was shorter than the Admiral, but her voice was strong and clear. "With all respect, Admiral, let me show you something." She pressed a button on her tablet. The hologram changed to show images from the planet's surface. They saw buildings with beautiful curved designs, parks filled with strange but lovely statues, schools where young aliens gathered to learn. "These people have created something special," Hae-Nul said. "Their mathematics is advanced. Their art is unique. Their music," she played a recording of an alien symphony. The strange but beautiful sounds filled the room. "Their music shows they understand complex patterns," she continued. "Their architecture proves they can think in 3 dimensions. They are so close to discovering the principles of spaceflight. Just 30 more years, and they might join us among the stars." The room was quiet except for the alien music. Admiral Kim walked around the table slowly. "You're asking us to sacrifice everything we've built with the Galactic Council for one civilization. I'm asking us to save billions of lives, Haynul replied. She switched the display to show more images. Families walking together, children playing in parks, scientists working in laboratories. Look at them, she said softly. Really look. They're not just numbers in a report. They're people. They dream. They hope. They love their children. And they have no idea their world is about to end. One of the military officers spoke up. The treaty exists for a reason. If we interfere, we could change their natural development. They might become dependent on advanced technology they're not ready for. Haynul nodded. Yes, the treaty exists for good reasons, but it never considered this situation. We're not talking about giving them technology or changing their culture. We're talking about preventing their extinction. Admiral Kim sat down heavily in his chair. Even if we wanted to help, how could we stop an asteroid that size without them noticing? Any action we take risks exposing them to our existence. My team has been working on that, Haynul said. She brought up new diagrams. We can use automated mining drones. Small, stealthy. They can redirect the asteroid gradually, over months. From the planet, it would look like the asteroid simply missed them. The room erupted in discussion. Some officers supported the idea. Others warned of the dangers. The debate grew heated. Finally, Admiral Kim raised his hand for silence. This decision is too big for us alone, he said. We need to call a global conference. All Earth's nations must have a voice in this. He looked at the hologram again, at the peaceful planet that didn't know it needed saving. We have 7 months until impact, he continued. 7 months to decide if we're willing to risk everything we've built with the Galactic Council. To decide if saving this civilization is worth breaking our most important promise. As the meeting ended, Haynul stayed behind, watching the hologram of the alien world. In her mind, she could still hear their music, full of hope for a future that might never come. The United Earth Conference Center in Seoul was filled to capacity. Representatives from every nation sat in the circular hall, their faces serious as they watched President Du Yan-choi take the podium. Large screens behind her showed the alien planet and the approaching asteroid. We have spent 3 weeks examining this situation, President Choi began. Her voice was calm but carried throughout the hall. We have studied the reports from the Odyssey. We have debated the moral and legal implications. Now we must decide. The screens changed to show images of the alien civilization. Cities stretched across green plains. Ships sailed on blue oceans. The aliens themselves moved about their daily lives, unaware they were being watched. The treaty we signed is important, President Choi continued. It protects developing civilizations from harmful interference. But today we face a question the treaty's writers never considered. Is letting a civilization die better than saving them? In the audience, Ambassador Jaiho Park sat quietly. He had signed the treaty 3 years ago. Now he watched as humanity prepared to break it. Our scientists tell us we can save them, the president said. We can deflect the asteroid without revealing ourselves. The alien civilization would continue its natural development, unaware they were ever in danger. She paused, looking at the assembled representatives. But if we do this, we break our promise to the galaxy. We risk our standing in the Galactic Council. We risk trade sanctions. We risk isolation. The hall was silent. On the screens, an alien child looked up at the sky, pointing at stars the humans knew held watching eyes. I have listened to all arguments, President Choi said. I have read every report, and I keep coming back to one simple truth. We are talking about billions of lives, billions of thinking, feeling beings who will die if we do nothing. She straightened her shoulders. Let us vote. But before we do, remember this. Someday we will tell our children what we decided here. We will tell them if we chose to keep our promise to the galaxy or our duty to life itself. The voting took 1 hour. When it was done, President Choi returned to the podium. The whole Earth watched through video feeds. The vote is clear, she announced. Earth will break the non-intervention treaty. We will save the Kepler 186 civilization. Ambassador Park closed his eyes. He thought of the alien representatives he had met, of the promises he had made. But when he opened his eyes, he saw the images of the alien world again, and he knew the choice was right. We will face the consequences of our actions, President Choi said firmly. But we will face them knowing we did what was right, not what was easy. She pressed a button on the podium. This is President Choi to all Earth forces. Operation Salvation is now active. May history judge us kindly. As the conference ended, the screen showed a final image. An alien family watching a sunset together, unaware that millions of kilometers away, humanity had just chosen to save their future. The choice was made. Now they had to succeed, no matter the cost. The next few months would test not just their technology, but their courage to stand by their decision when the galaxy discovered what they had done. Commander Jae-in stood at the control center of Space Station Aurora, watching the fleet of mining drones move through space. The small black machines looked like tiny stars against the darkness. Each one carried powerful drilling equipment and ion engines. Drone fleet approaching asteroid, reported Technical Officer Sang-hee Park. Her fingers moved quickly across the control panel. All systems are operating at full capacity. Jae-in nodded. They had planned this mission for 3 months. The drones would attach to the massive asteroid and slowly change its course. If everything worked correctly, the space rock would miss the alien planet by a safe distance. First wave of drones beginning attachment sequence, Sang-hee announced. On the main screen, they watched as the machines landed on the asteroid's dark surface. Small lights blinked as the drones started their work. But then a warning light flashed red. "Commander," called out Sensor Officer Min-jo Lee. "We have incoming ships. 3. No, 5 vessels just appeared at the edge of our detection range." Jae-in's heart beat faster. "Show me," she ordered. The screen changed to show 5 ships approaching their position. They were not human vessels. Their designs matched ships from the Galactic Council's patrol fleet. "They must have detected our operation," Jae-in said quietly. She pressed the emergency communication button. "This is Commander Yoon to Earth Command. We have been discovered. Council ships are approaching. Awaiting orders." The response came quickly from Admiral Kim's voice. "Continue the operation. We knew this might happen. Captain Sun-mi Lee and the Odyssey are moving to your position to provide support." Jae-in turned to her crew. "You heard the Admiral. Keep the drones working. Every minute counts." The alien ships came closer. Their designs were beautiful but threatening. Lights pulsed along their hulls as they approached the human station. "They're sending a message," reported Communications Officer Yum-ho Choi. They're ordering us to stop all operations immediately. They say we're violating the non-intervention treaty." Jae-in straightened her uniform. "Send them this response. We acknowledge their message, but we cannot comply. The operation will continue." The alien ships moved closer. Warning signals flashed across the control panels. "They're charging weapons," Min-jae reported, his voice tense. Just then, a new ship appeared. The Odyssey dropped out of faster-than-light travel between the alien vessels and the asteroid. Captain Sun-mi's voice came through the speakers. "This is Captain Lee of the Earth ship Odyssey," she broadcast to all ships. "We know we're breaking the treaty, but we also know that letting billions die when we can save them is wrong. If you want to stop us, you'll have to fire on us first." The control room was silent. Everyone watched the standoff between the ships. The mining drones continued their work, slowly pushing against the asteroid's surface. "Commander," Sang-hee called out, "the first wave of drones has successfully altered the asteroid's course by 0.1 degrees. It's working." Jae-in nodded. They had crossed a line. There was no going back now. Earth had chosen to save a civilization, even if it meant facing the galaxy's judgment. The question was, would the alien ships fire on them to stop their mission? And if they did, How far would humanity go to save a species that didn't even know they existed? Captain Sun Mai Li kept her hand steady on the Odyssey's control panel. Her ship floated between the asteroid mining operation and 5 alien vessels. The space around them was silent, but tension filled every moment. The main screen lit up with an incoming transmission. The face of the alien fleet commander appeared. His crystal-like skin reflected light in strange patterns. "Human vessel," the alien commander said through the translation system. "You are violating the most sacred law of our galaxy. Stand down immediately." Sun Mi took a deep breath. "I am Captain Li of Earth. We understand we are breaking the treaty, but we cannot stand down." She pressed a button, sending the alien ships all the data about the planet and its people. Images of their cities, their art, their families filled the transmission. "Look at what you're asking us to let die," Sun Mi said. Her voice was firm but calm. "A whole civilization, billions of thinking, feeling beings. They create art. They make music. They dream of reaching the stars." The alien commander's crystalline features shifted. "The treaty exists to protect developing worlds. You knew this when you signed it." "Yes," Sun Mi agreed. "We signed it to protect developing worlds. But tell me, Commander, how does letting them die protect them?" Behind her ship, the mining drones continued their work. Every minute brought them closer to saving the planet. Sun Mi needed to keep the alien fleet talking. "We're not giving them technology," she continued. "We're not changing their culture. We're simply moving a rock that would kill them all. How is that wrong?" Another alien ship joined the conversation. This commander had scales that changed color as they spoke. "If we allow this, other races will break the treaty too. They will interfere with developing worlds. The whole system will fall apart." Sun Mi stood from her captain's chair. "Then maybe the system needs to change. Maybe we need rules that protect life, not just prevent interference." She walked closer to the screen. "Look at your own histories. Has there never been a time when your people faced extinction? When you wished someone had helped you?" The alien commanders were silent. The mining drones kept working. On the tactical display, Sun Mi could see the asteroid's path starting to shift. "We humans have a saying," Sun Mi said. "The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. Letting billions die when we can save them, that would be evil." She straightened her uniform. "If you want to stop us, you'll have to destroy this ship, and then you'll have to explain to the galaxy why you killed people who were trying to save lives." The silence stretched longer. Sun Mi waited. Behind her, her crew watched the alien ship's weapon systems, still powered up and ready to fire. Finally, the crystal-skinned commander spoke again. "We will report this to the full council." He paused. "But we will not fire on those trying to save lives." Sun Mi let out a small breath of relief. They had won this battle. But she knew the real fight. The fight to change how the galaxy thought about interference and protection was just beginning. Chief Intelligence Officer Min Ho Kang sat in his quiet office at Earth Defense Headquarters, staring at his computer screen. He had been analyzing data from the Galactic Council's secure networks for weeks. What he found made him sit up straight in his chair. "This can't be right," he whispered to himself. He checked the data again, then a third time. But the evidence was clear. He reached for his communication panel and pressed the emergency button. 1 hour later, the Emergency Council gathered. President Du Yun Choi, Admiral Taiwan Kim, Ambassador Jai-Ho Park, and other leaders sat around the table, looking at Min Ho with serious faces. "What was so important it couldn't wait until morning?" Admiral Kim asked. Min Ho connected his computer to the room's main display. "While monitoring council communications about our treaty violation, I found something strange. There were hidden files, deeply encrypted. It took weeks to decode them." He brought up the first file. 3 years ago, the Zentari race secretly deflected a comet away from a developing civilization in the Orion sector. The room grew quiet. Min Ho continued. showing more files. 2 years ago, the Meraxians prevented a solar flare from hitting an inhabited world. Last year, the Cathori stopped a deadly virus from spreading on a pre-industrial planet. Ambassador Park leaned forward. Are you saying other races have broken the treaty too? Many times, Minho confirmed. They just hid it better than we did. They used advanced technology to cover their tracks. But the evidence is here. He showed more files, more secret missions. President Choi stood up slowly. So when they condemned us for breaking the treaty, they were being hypocritical. Minho finished. Almost every major race has broken the treaty at least once, always to prevent disasters, always to save lives. They just never admitted it. Admiral Kim shook his head. Why keep it secret? If everyone was doing it. Because everyone was afraid. Ambassador Park said quietly. Afraid of being the first to admit the treaty wasn't working. Afraid of being blamed for breaking the rules. Minho nodded. The treaty was meant to protect developing civilizations, but it became more important to follow the rules than to actually help people. President Choi walked to the window, looking out at the stars. We need to take this to the full council. Not just our violation. All of it. It's time for the galaxy to be honest about what's really happening. They won't like that, Admiral Kim warned. Exposing their secrets could make them angry. Maybe, President Choi agreed. But sometimes the truth needs to come out. The galaxy needs to face what it's been doing in secret and decide, are we going to keep pretending, or are we going to make new rules that match what we really believe is right? The leaders looked at each other. They had broken the treaty to save one civilization. Now they had the chance to change how the whole galaxy thought about helping developing worlds. Send the evidence to Captain Lee on the Odyssey, President Choi ordered. Tell her to share it with the alien fleet commanders. It's time everyone knew the truth. As the meeting ended, Minho looked at his computer screen one last time. The truth was out now. The question was, what would the galaxy do with it? The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council looked very different from the day Earth had signed the non-intervention treaty. Now, 3 months after the Kepler 186 incident, representatives from 200 species sat in uncomfortable silence as Ambassador Jaiho Park stood at the podium. The asteroid had been successfully diverted. The civilization on Kepler 186 still didn't know how close they had come to extinction. But the galaxy would never be the same. Honored members of the council, Jaiho began, his voice clear and strong. We are here today because humanity broke our promise. We interfered with a developing civilization. We violated the treaty we had sworn to uphold. He paused, looking around the chamber. Some aliens wouldn't meet his eyes. Others watched with great interest. But we also discovered something important, he continued. We learned that many of you had done the same thing. You saved worlds in secret. You prevented disasters without telling anyone. You broke the rules to protect life. The chamber erupted in nervous whispers. On the main display, images scrolled past, evidence of dozens of secret interventions by various species over the years. We are not here to shame anyone, Jaiho said firmly. We are here because it's time to be honest. The old treaty failed not because it was wrong to protect developing civilizations, but because it didn't understand the difference between harmful interference and necessary help. He touched a button, and a new document appeared on everyone's screens. This is the Preservation Protocol, a new agreement that Earth and 15 other worlds have already decided to support. The alien representatives began reading. Jaiho explained the main points. Under these new rules, we will still protect developing civilizations from harmful interference, but we will also protect them from extinction. No more hiding when we save lives. No more pretending we don't see disasters coming. No more choosing between breaking rules and doing what's right. The crystal-skinned commander who had confronted the Odyssey stood up. And who decides when interference is necessary? We all do, Jaiho answered. The protocol creates a council of preservation. When a civilization faces extinction, we meet openly. We decide together. No more secret missions, no more hidden files, everything in the light. He showed an image of Kepler 186, peaceful and safe. The civilization we saved will never know we existed. But someday when they reach the stars, they will find our records. They will learn how the galaxy came together to protect them, and they will be invited to join us in protecting others. The debate lasted for 3 days. Many species opposed the change at first, but as more leaders admitted to their own secret interventions, resistance faded. In the end, the vote wasn't even close. As Jaiho signed the new protocol, he thought about how far they had come. Humanity had broken the rules, yes. But in doing so, they had helped the galaxy find better rules. Rules that matched what everyone already believed in their hearts, that protecting life was more important than following traditions. The old treaty now hung in the Council's museum. Next to it was a new display, images from Kepler 186f, showing a civilization that still lived, still created, still dreamed of the stars. They were proof that sometimes breaking the rules was the first step toward making better ones.